chase my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your.
Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 airing
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Hello, everybody, and welcome into PGR Esports Live with the continuation of March Madness. And tonight we got the Sweet 16 live from Talladega Superspeedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Well, drivers have gotten gridded up. Qualifying order has been set. So before we go any further, let's take a look at what your starting grid is here on the night. Grabbing the pole with a very fast time. I actually heard these guys talking about it a little bit pre-race. How about Kevin Freeze? He puts down a 51.867. Colin Bowden going to start to his outside in second. Matt Lee in third with Jeff Merck back in fourth. Ken McCullough Jr. in fifth. Garrett Maines in sixth. Kyler Wynn seventh. Nash Brambilla back in eighth. It's going to be Cody Nagels in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 here on the night is David Sheets from McCullough Motorsports. Moving on back to row number 6, it's Andrew Navarro and Jason Maines. Row number 7, it's going to be John Mullahan and J.R. Miller. Justin Mills will roll off 15th for BAR. Malik Gray, he will roll off 16th. Devin Ray, 17th. Joshua Watson in 18th. Thomas Parker, he will start back in the 19th position. And rounding out your top 20 here on the night is going to be Brian Bessard in the 11 car. 21st, Logan York starting back in 22nd. It's Dylan Jones. Row 14, or excuse me, back row 12 is going to be Mark Von Dell in 23rd. Mike Davenport, 24th. Row 13, Dustin Carruthers and Zach Range. Row 14, Michael Triscaro and Christopher McCullough. Matthew Patton back in 29th. And rounding out the top 30 is Jeremy Osborne. Ryan Newman back in 31st. Tyler Vickery, 32nd. Tucker McClendon, 33rd. John Ward in 34th. Richard Elliott, 35th. Trevor Oswanoff in 36th. Brock Westman back in 37th. Jack Kignite in 38th. Michael Clay, 39th. Tony Cox rounding out your top 40. And the last man in the field tonight is Jimmy Emos. He will start 41st in the 54 car. Race info here on the night. Only thing different here that's not accurate that some reason didn't update is these guys are not in the truck series tonight. You notice a different look on track. Back to the Gen 6 series. We tried this just a few weeks ago. Same track, same car, and boy, the product did not disappoint. So we're going to try more of the same tonight and excited for it. And again, March Madness, we started last week with the head-to-head battle in the round of 32. This week we move on to the Sweet 16, the round of 16 if you will. 50 laps the scheduled distance here tonight at Talladega. 75% fuel, unlimited tires, 1 fast pair of fixed setups as always, and 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Track temp nice and cool, under 100 degrees, 2.65 miles, over 30 degrees of banking. Makes up Talladega Superspeedway, 80 degrees outside, 19% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 4 miles an hour. Now, while we have a brief chance before things do get completely started and we get the party really going here, let's talk about some of the key matchups here tonight, and in general, as many matchups as we can go through. So we eliminated half of the contenders in this challenge last week, and remaining tonight it's going to be Nagels versus Merck, Miller versus Osborne, John Ward versus Ken McCullough Jr., John Mullihan versus Kyler Wynn, Michael Triscaro versus Colin Bowden, Kevin Freeze versus Zach Range, Logan York versus Brian Boussard, Matthew Patton versus Christopher McCullough. Well, we don't have our usual help tonight. Dawson couldn't make it, and Matthew Baker's internet went out, so it's just me. But I'm ready to go, and so are these guys. Here we go into the restart zone for the first time tonight. Back in the Gen 6 Series and PGR ESPORTS, back underway at Talladega. As they rock it down the Alabama gang back straightaway for the first time here tonight. These cars still getting up to speed, but already you're seeing how much bump drafting is going to play a role tonight. The outside was led right there for a minute by the 97 to Colin Bowden, but a big run from Jeff Merck. Quickly ducked to the inside, got a push from Garrett Maines, and ducking down low as well now is the 38 machine of Nash Brambilla. Boy, that stacked him up on the bottom. Kevin Freeze, who is your pole sitter, not going to be able to lead the first lap, at least not the way things are looking right now. Stacking up a little bit further back up in the top lane, trying to get something going. Now you see Garrett jump up to the top. He got a good push right there from his teammate in Kevin Freeze. Matt Lee lined up top lane as well. No third just yet, at least not in the first 5 rows or so. But the further back you go, starting to see a couple guys think about it. David Sheets looks like currently trying to lead a charge, getting a push from Jason Maines. Not too many takers, though, in the middle. Right now, it is the top rolling, similar to what we do see, of course, with the next gens. And so everybody keeping it clean, keeping it even side by side as they work into turn number 3. Now, a couple of things to notice. The first thing is the way the camera angle looks right now. You notice these cars maybe looking just a little bit glitchy right there as they work their way through turn 3 and 4. iRacing did make a couple updates the other day, and I do think that is playing part of that. So still working on getting some of the graphics set up for some of that. Not sure exactly what the issue is, but we will continue to work on that as they cross the stripe. 3 laps of 50 now complete. And you see that bottom lane still formed up pretty tight. A lot of good pushing right now from Nash Brambilla in the 38. And he is still stuck to the back bumper of Jeff Merck. And Jeff Merck involved in one of those key battles that we're going to be talking about here tonight. A move from Colin Bowden. Thought better of it. Now he thinks again as he'll jump right back down to the middle. Looks like this time it's going to be the Canadian driver, Kyler Wynn, jumping up to see if he can help the 97. Garrett Maines throws the block that gives his teammate, Kevin Freeze, a chance to cool down on the outside. Still 3x3 as they work their way out of turn 4. We do have a couple driver cams tonight, but no chance to really take a look at those right now. Not with the action we've got going on up front. One thing we can do is hop in the cockpit, though, here of Jeff Merck and see what some of the chaos looks like. Is one across the track, making a couple more. The 4's in it. Now the 34, Michael Triscaro, nowhere to go. Caution is out as they wreck just before going into turn number 1. Didn't look like any big hits, but a lot of cars slowly started getting out of shape, and eventually it accumulated. They all piled up, and just like that, we are under caution here, just 4 laps into this race. So it looks like everybody's going to be able to roll off here for the most part. Tony Cox in the 72 getting back up to speed as he climbs the 30-plus degree banking. Good-looking scheme on that car. There's the 33 of Michael Clay, Jimmy Emos, Tucker McClendon, who we did see spinning. Looks like he was able to get back rolling in his Ford Mustang. But the big question here is, what happened? Let's go back and take a look. And if we tune this back, it started with Cody Nagels caught my eye. It looked like he got maybe turned out of line. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. We'll go back to the TV follow. Watch the 6 on the bottom. Before we go to that, let's actually get an aerial shot here to see if there was indeed contact. Now, there's a lot of push in these cars, and similar to the next gen, you can push just about as hard as you want. And the trouble actually doesn't start on the bottom there with Nagels. It starts a lane up with Michael Triscaro, and I believe that was Joshua Watson in the 01 that he's going to get into. In fact, we'll go back here a little bit and see if that was indeed the case. But I'm thinking that's exactly what it was that initially got this thing started here. And so we'll play this nice and slow, but watch as the 01 gets turned. Yeah, I mean, it's just slight contact, but it's in an awkward spot. We're coming through the tribal, and I think Triscaro gets him just a slight bit offset to the left. And then that turns the 01 down into Cody Nagels. He saves it somehow. As you see up front, they just were getting ready to split 4 wide, too. So this may have been a good caution or good time for the caution, at least saving those guys up front. And now it's just a mad scatter of everybody trying to miss this wreck. And there is not a lot of places to go. And then you see almost the secondary wreck up front with, again, Tucker McClendon, Michael Triscaro. I believe that might have been Jeremy Osborne as well in the 00. We also saw get collected in this. And this is going to be, this was some secondary contact right here. Let's watch this. As Joshua Watson, oh no, Triscaro gets actually turned back down as he's trying to save it. The car gets loosened. There's a little bit of netcode, but I think they were going to make contact nonetheless. And then, of course, once they do make that contact, back up the track he goes, gets into his teammate Mike Davenport before they spin back down. And it was actually Dustin Carruthers. But you notice the 3 car right there, heavy damage to the front. I believe that was Matthew Patton, actually, who had such a good run in the trucks last week. Yeah, that's potentially destroyed race car that he's going to have to use a fast spare on here early. Not the way he wanted it to go. Looked like the hood did pop back on, so we'll see just how bad that damage is here. And we'll take one more look from the restart cam. And man, what a shot that is. If you need a screenshot, look no further. I mean, they were just getting ready to fan out 4 wide. You saw Kyler jump to the middle when the wreck starts out back. And Cody Nagels, along with the 4, they're able to get off track. No further damage to any of those guys. Then it's the secondary wreck that seems like it piles up a few more of them. And so as we do go back live, up towards the front of the field, a lot of pit stops there. A little bit of strategy play, but again, 75% fuel, so still not good to make it all the way, even if this thing were to go green. Definitely going to need a couple more cautions, but no surprise to see, again, just about everybody going right there. Take at least top it off on fuel, if nothing else. Maybe take 4 tires as well if you're towards the back of the pack, but it is Matt Lee who's being scored as your leader right now. In the 04 car, just behind him, John Ward, followed by your pole sitter on the night, Kevin Freeze. Garrett Maines in the 39, Jeff Merck in the 60, Nash Brambilla back in 6th, Andrew Navarro 7th, Dylan Jones 8th, Justin Mills 9th. Rounding out your top 10 here is Jason Maines. We're going back a little bit further here. I think it's a good time to click off some of the driver cams and take a look at who we've got that we can get onboard views from here tonight. How about first up? Last Gen 6 winner for the PGR Esports Series. It's Trevor Osranoff tonight rocking the 89. And remember, he knows how to get it done here in both series. But yes, indeed, was able to get the job done last time we were here a few weeks ago. Got a push from his teammate Dustin Carruthers. Now those two are going to be a little bit separated here after Dustin was involved in that last wreck. But watch for Trevor, who's already up 13 positions from where he started this race, to continue trying to work his way through the field. And he'll be at the front and be a contender before this thing is all said and done. Saving a little fuel. In fact, he's going to go back down the pits. Talk more about that fuel strategy here in just a moment. By the way, we saw Tony Cox slow after that last wreck. He's going to bring it back down to the pits as he pulls into his box. Another one of the drivers that we have carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And this was pretty similar to what we saw a lot of guys do. Brock Westmoreland's back down the pits. Jack Hignite, Michael Clay. A lot of drivers coming in to top off here before we get ready to drop the green flag again here tonight at Talladega. A couple of the other driver cams that we have. Another man involved in that last wreck. But you know that he was going to try some strategy to get this thing flipped around, get it working in his favor. Not as many teammates as normal tonight, but Cody Nagels currently in that 19th spot, down 10 from where he started. We'll see what he can do here the rest of the way. Take a look at one more driver cam here on the night. So we go back to another car that, yeah, pretty much all the driver cams we had here were guys that were involved in that last wreck. And for now, the last one we'll take a look at is actually Joshua Watson in the 01, who was able to get back going. And it looks like he's got a sponsor on the inside of this car. Hold on. I didn't know you could... That's Thomas Parker that we were on right there. I was getting confused there for a moment. But Joshua Watson, he's got the on plate. So maybe, yeah, I guess you could put a sponsor on the inside of the cars on that plate right there by the front center bar. Interestingly enough, it's a pretty cool little feature. Didn't know these guys could do that on these cars. I know this is the general way that PGR has been trying to sway over the last couple weeks, at least the guys in charge were. They love the racing that this series has produced, and I mean, you can't blame them. We saw a lot of 3, almost had 4 wide action there just before we got the caution, and that is because these giant spoilers that you see on the back of the field on every single one of these cars, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, good mix here tonight, but they all have that giant spoiler. Creates a lot of downforce, and in the process creates a lot of draft that these guys are able to catch from about as far back as you could imagine, at least a second and a half. And as a result, you also get the giant tandem pushes that we see down the front, back, straightaway, even in the corners, where some of the guys that have good chemistry or are just willing to do what they got to do to try to get the job done here tonight. Payouts are on the line. A chance to move on to the, I believe it's the Elite 8. Yeah, sure enough. Next week is also on the line. Still a lot of laps to go. Only 7 complete. But as we get ready to go back to green, the field now in the hands of Matt Lee and John Ward, Toyota and a Ford. Green flag back in the air. 8 laps going to be complete as they cross the line. It's a pretty good jump from the inside line. Further back, a little bit of a stack up. Has drivers scrambling. Oh my goodness. What is happening towards the back? We got one with a major malfunction. Getting off the track finally there. Was that Justin Mills? No, that was Devin Ray. Oh my God. I have never seen something quite like what just happened to that car right there. He has had some sort of major malfunction with as quick as this wheel was turning. Let's go back and take a look at this real quick. I mean, this thing was bouncing around. Just as they get green, throttles up. And everything seems fine initially. As he shifts up. Oh my goodness. I mean, wow. Well, yeah, he definitely had some sort of technical issue. We'll get checked on that in a moment. But up front, that has caused a little bit of a separation now between the 2 packs. Leading the way in the front pack is John Ward with a push from Garrett Maines, followed by NASCAR Bill. Now Maines will split high. Ward has to go low. He covers. He's going to be able to get a push now from Matt Lee. Kevin Freeze, contact out back between Mills and Triscaro. Another close call. That happened just behind J.R. Miller and Zach Range in the 99. Mills was able to get back down to the bottom without any further issue. And I said Michael Triscaro. I don't think that was actually Triscaro. I believe that might have been David Sheets. Yeah, Triscaro's in the second pack. And this is that group that's kind of getting formed up, or rather, kind of a couple groups that are trying to get formed up after that incident there with Devin Ray right off the start, caused them all to separate. And currently, this second group is being led by Brian Bassard. He's getting a push from Tyler Vickery, Joshua Watson, Richard Elliott, and Thomas Parker all in that group, along with Trevor Osranoff. Then you got Kyler Wynn leading the second pack that has now caught these guys. We'll see if they choose to go to the outside or if they stay in line as caution is out. We got trouble in the tri-oval, exiting the tri-oval now. As they all dive to the pits to miss it, Sheets, J.R. Miller are involved. And it looks like stop further back on track. That I believe that was a 38 of Nash Brambilla. Sure enough, not the way he wanted to have his race started after running up front early. Driver out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Don't see a lot of damage. This may have been another one of those harmful spins. I mean, both wrecks tonight have happened in the tri-oval here. So clearly something these guys have not been able to get figured out, at least not yet. And now you do see some of that rear end damage for the 38 machine. It's bent in pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be a fast pair worthy, but definitely going to affect the aero at least slightly on his Ford Mustang. So we'll see if he's able to go in and get some of those dents banged out. Let's go back and take a look, though, at what causes this one right here. They're coming through the tri-oval. You see Nash Brambilla, the 38. Oh, he's already got contact there from the 36. I believe that's Dylan Jones. Now, again, these guys are in different paint schemes than we're used to seeing when they're in the truck. So we kind of got to get the paint schemes back in mind. But, yeah, that was indeed Dylan Jones here. And if we go to the chopper view here, I think it's just a little bit of a stack up more than anything on this outside. You see their 3-car tandem right here, which you can do. You got to be really careful, and yeah, that's exactly what it is here. You see the 60 of Jeff Merck tries to pull up in front of Garrett Maines. The run is too big, and I'm not sure if it's the contact from the rear bumper between Garrett Maines and Jeff Merck, or if Garrett lifts just a little bit, but that does cause a stack up. And then the 38 of Brambilla gets almost run over, if you will, by Dylan Jones, who had nowhere to go. And then there you see the 43 of Jason Maines. He piles in. The 45 gets down into Sheets, into Miller. They both go sliding, and then, man, somehow everybody does a tightrope act to miss the 38 as he slid back down the racetrack and into traffic. They come to a stop just beforehand, making sure that there was no further contact. That was a really nice job by everybody to not get further involved in this wreck. And here's the onboard view from Nash Brambilla, and watch how big this checkup is. Yeah, you see, he's trying everything. It's just, it's not, and I'd say it was a big stack up. It's really not that big of a stack up, but when you're running bumper to bumper, there's just really no room for any sort of stack up. You're hoping that all 3 cars are in sync, and sometimes when you have something like that, just wrong place, wrong time for Nash Brambilla. And unfortunately, Dylan Jones, nothing he could do either to try to check up in time. Let's go to a little bit of an alternate angle here. Let me see if we get maybe more of a straight-on view here. So watch Jeff Merck. You see the 60, he jumps up there. Now, he makes this move actually coming into the tri-oval. He's stuck in the middle here. He's got no help. And as he tries to jump up, I mean, he kind of waits a while. I think he was waiting to get clear from just behind Kevin Freeze. And there's a gap there, but fortunately that gap closes up before he gets there. And I think Garrett maybe helps him out a little bit this time. Not sure if the 39 is going to be so friendly next time. That was a pretty big block that certainly could have got Garrett involved in that one, but he was able to drive through, survive. In fact, let's go to the onboard view here for Garrett now and see just how big that stack up may have actually been here. Yeah, you hear it. He does. He has to brief lift right there. That's what ultimately gets Nashville Bella turned around. And so I believe Christopher McCullough slid through that. That was a 45. We saw initially going sideways, but he was able to get it straightened back up and continue on. So as we go back live, it is now 11 of 50 laps completed here on the night. John Ward being scored as your leader, up 33 positions from where he started this race at tonight. Matthew Patton in second. Zach Range third. Richard Elliott in fourth. Thomas Parker rounding out your top five. By the way, Zach Range, another one of the drivers that we have carrying not only an onboard camera for us here tonight, but something a little different. Knew it was just a matter of time before we saw this over here in PGR. We've seen it in a couple other leagues. That's right. He's got the pedal cam as well. And contrary to what a lot of people might think, these drivers actually have to use the pedals a lot more here at a track like Talladega. It's not just full throttle wide open all the time. You're constantly playing with the gas pedal just ever so slightly. Try to make sure that you set up the run right. You got to drag a little brake sometimes if you're trying to slow down without losing momentum. And so Zach Range providing good insight there, both from the cockpit perspective and from the pedal perspective. And then you see doing it all with the F1 wheel as well. Going up next to the man who we saw almost get himself caught up in that last wreck. And maybe the spark of it, Jeff Merkin, showing a lot of aggression here early. It's paying off, though. He's got himself inside the top 16 right now, but was well inside the top 10 until that last caution. So we'll see if Jeff Merck can continue the good run here at this point here on the night. And last but certainly not least, one who we have not gotten to yet, and I think we're going to be talking about him as well a lot more towards the end of this broadcast, is series owner Michael Triscaro. And right now he runs in that 8th position, was able to pick up some positions as a result of this caution. You see there, he got a new wheel just recently, traded the old one, and so sometimes you get that new wheel, you feel like you're on top of the world a little bit, and so watch for Michael Triscaro maybe to get the first win in the Gen 6 Series here tonight. Second race of this series, but didn't get the job done last time. Still looking to capture a win as PGR Series owner. So back to the front, looks like the lights on the pace car are off this time as Tyler Vickery, by the way, has also just tuned into driver cam. Taking a look there tonight, we saw him earlier towards the back of the field, slowly working his way through. And so it's going to be 13 laps complete when we cross the stripe this time. Appreciate everybody just tuning in. See who's watching right now. 7C's event says hello all. Good to see you out here. Donalda Adams rooting on Jeff Merck. Chris Carter says hello from Columbus, Ohio. Boys and Goes to Racing Network. Good to see you out here, Chris. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. 11:07 Eastern time, and we still got a lot of racing to do here in the Gen 6 Series for the round of 16 for March Madness. And again, we talked about some of those key battles to keep an eye on earlier. Mentioned those briefly here again, though. Right now, we're watching John Ward versus Ken McCullough Jr., along with Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, and Colin Bowden. Michael Triscaro. A couple underdog picks right there in that mix, along with a couple of the best going head-to-head. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. 13 laps complete at Talladega. This time, the restart looking much more organized, but the first 2 rows of each line gets a phenomenal restart. It looks like the outside's going to get one just a little bit better. Matthew Patton not quite able to hold even with John Ward. Ward the 92 is going to jump down. That leaves up top and all alone the 10 machine there of Richard Elliott. It looks like he will now find a spot in line, not too far back. In fact, he's only going to fall back to 4th, make it 5th now as the 51 of Thomas Parker is gearing up with a big run as well. And here comes that 3rd lane. Already did not take long. Got a push there. That's Matt Lee pushing hard on the back bumper of Andrew Navarro. Going to get another taker here jumping up. Trevor Ostronoff in the 89. He won from taking the 3rd lane, but gets out of shape. Trying to save it. Navarro gets him around. Lee goes around hard in the middle of the pack. Back into the outside wall they go. The 10 goes around through the grass. And another case of maybe just a little bit too much aggression results in our 3rd caution here within just 14 laps here on the night. Tucker McClendon was in this one as well, as you see him going through the grass. Jason Maines through the pits. I was most worried there about Richard Elliott in the 10. We saw take a couple of big shots there. Good looking pit boss car, but not going to get much more TV time after this wreck, as it's now going to be towards the back with the positioning that he lost from this one here. And let's actually go to this wreck right here. And this was just really aggressive pushing on the outside. And, again, we talked about you can do it in the corners, but, I think when they linked up, they were pretty much right on the exit of the corner. That's the spot where these cars unload, and the one area they really don't like to be pushed. And right here, as Navarro gets to his rear bumper, he's slightly offset right, but I mean, again, it really doesn't look bad for what these cars should be able to take. But you see he's going to hit him here just ever so slightly. And didn't mean to speed that up right there, but he hits him ever so slightly in the right side of the bumper. And then it kind of swipes him to the left side after it hits Ozranoff up the track. There's the first hit that sends Ozranoff up. Now he's going to get him in the left side. This is the one that really gets him out of whack here, sends him down. Navarro, I think, is going to try to let him save it here. Tries to tuck back in line, but instead hooks him in the right rear. Now that sends him back up before he goes back down. And then further back, not sure what happened to Matt Lee here, if he thought they were wrecking or what, but does he just get a push as well? He might have also got a push. Let's go a little bit further up here and see if we can get a cockpit view here for Matt Lee. Yeah, he does. You saw him. He got that bump out back. And that's what sent him down into the lane below. As we go back to a TV follow view for this, as Ozranoff gets turned down, it's going to be chaos from here. The 10 of Richard Elliott, there's going to be nothing he can do in this one. He gets collected and spun around a couple different ways right here. Wait, Trevor almost hung on too, just could not quite do it right there. Actually, he may have ended up saving this overall. Take it back. I think he did. I got fixated on the middle of the pack there for a moment, but I think the 89 does save it. Yeah, he does, and he just gets missed right there by the 10 of Elliott. So what a job by Trevor Ozranoff. Might be the save of the race right there. You saw Navarro get clipped. He was able to hang on, though. But as the 10 goes around, slides back down into the middle of the pack, Joshua Watson has to take evasive maneuvers to miss his teammate. And you see getting involved there on the bottom was Brian Bessard. And then Watson blinked out. I thought for a minute there that would have meant he left. Christopher McCullough slides in with nowhere to go. So again, a pretty hard wreck, but not one that's going to collect necessarily a ton of fast repairs. Didn't see a lot of big hits like it initially looked like. A couple hard shots to the outside wall initially here, especially for Lee and Richard Elliott. Actually, the 4 there of John Mullihan took a pretty hard shot. So they all go spinning through the grass. Give you one more shot of this one here from the fan cam. They had a pretty good look at it. The virtual fans, if you will. And again, a lot of wrecking here early tonight. I think it's just a product of the package that these cars bring. As fun as they are, it creates a lot of aggression. You've always got to be on your toes. You're constantly making moves, and most importantly, you have got to be pushing if you want a chance to win this race. And before we go any further, I know we didn't show it there, but I think we need to, was the save from Trevor Ozranoff. I wish we could have been live on his driver cam as it happened, because I promise you that this is one of the best saves that we have seen here in probably at least the last month or so. Watch the job he does here after getting offset pushed a little bit by Andrew Navarro. Watch the job he does to save this car. I mean, that wasn't even like a quick save. You saw his hands were holding the wheel almost 90 degrees right, 90 degrees left a couple different times there, just doing everything to save it. Hey, you see him coasting on the apron, saving a little fuel. So, if you're a Trevor Ozranoff fan, picked a pretty good guy to do it, because he is still up front now as a result of that save. Sitting in the podium spot, he is third, just in front of him. John Ward and Zach Range in the 99. And we'll be getting ready to go back green as lights go off this time. And so, looking at fuel strategy, again, 75% fuel. If I had to take a guess, I think that means these cars could probably make maybe somewhere right around 30 laps. Give or take. And so again, still not quite good to make it all the way yet, but I think we're starting to get pretty close, and this thing may come down to fuel strategy depending on when the rest of these cautions all fall. But Matthew Patton doing a great job here tonight. Not in the top 10 anymore. After I'm not sure he was involved in that last wreck or just decided to pit. Tried some strategy, but Zach Range in second with a really good job there. And John Ward, who leads his pack, let's see how he's feeling right now. Hey, John, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got a copy.
Well, we're getting ready to go back green. A lot of hard racing early, but so far, so good. You find yourself out in front, but you still got to see if you can take home the head-to-head battle here tonight. Going against Ken McCullough Jr., how you feeling so far about your chances tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not on my normally rig at my house. I had to go to another spot. My internet's down, but I'm doing a little strategy here. Hopefully they keep wrecking and I get me a good clean stop. But I feel pretty confident. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to try to stay up front if I can.
Well, internet seems to be working good so far. Car looks good. It looks even better up front. Keep it up the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
Thank you.
There you go, John Ward. Yeah, we had a couple guys, again, including our race control tonight, Matthew Baker, with internet troubles that were not able to attend the race tonight. That's why we are solo in the booth. So, again, appreciate everybody that's sticking with us tonight, watching this thing. Hope you are enjoying. But here we go, back into the restart zone. 17 laps complete at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. And it's a good start from the 92 of John Ward on the inside as the engines roar back to life. Zach Range already hoping to get a push from the outside. These guys have got to get locked up. The sooner the better. That inside has been rolling pretty well, all up until about the back straightaway on the first lap. But going to the TV follow cam, watch the run that this outside sets up here as Trevor Osnoff gets to the back bumper of Zach Range, and he is going to push him all the way out in front, halfway down the back. New leader, it is Zach Range, but 3 wide now as Jeff Merck jumps up. That sucks the 89 back, falls quickly off the bumper of Range, and look how far back Trevor Osnoff falls, just in about the span of a couple hundred yards. Ward's going to make the move, though, back to the middle. He'll get help from Dustin Carruthers. Kevin Freese sees it, and he will follow that run as well. Cody Nagels up to 4th in line in the middle. Now he'll jump to the outside. Now the 99 gets turned hard into the outside while he goes, gets T-boned up in the air. The 10 of Richard Elliott also with nowhere to go. Caution is back out. It's the 43. Jason Maines tries to dodge right there at the last second. And a big wreck right there for Zach Range. And this will be his fast part. Look at his steering wheel. 90 degrees sideways. This thing is destroyed, and not surprised. He took a couple of huge shots. There's the virtual steering wheel as well. And that time, I mean, realistically, I don't think we need a replay. He just flat got hooked. I mean, I don't think it was intentional, of course, by any means, but just really aggressive pushing. And I'm thinking that Zach Range is probably not going to be too happy about that one. Let's back this up and take a look exactly where this push all starts to go wrong at. By the way, Range has since going to be going to the pits. The 99 you see is on the bottom here. I think it's Mike Davenport who's going to be the next man to arrive on scene with help. But he's just going to get there a little bit too fast, maybe? Or was it something different? I mean, there's the run really sizing up. Range holds his line, and then you see, oh, that's what it is. Oh, man, that's an unfortunate circumstance. It's just the run is so great right there from Davenport, and he's trying to check up just before he gets there, but David Sheets, along with the 97 of Colin Bowden, they're tandemed up, so they both push right into the 55, and Sheets hits him a little bit offset left as he does. That turns the 55 Davenport out of line. As he's trying to save it, you see the car hook back left, and it just clips the right rear here of Zach Range. Once it does, I mean, there's nothing you're going to be able to do from here. The wreck's on. The 99 gets turned, and again, Trevor Osnoff misses it just barely. There's the big hit for the 99 into the outside wall. You see sneaking around there. A couple of guys, including Tucker McClendon, and then trying to miss it there. The 72 of Tony Cox was looking clean, but then the 38 on rushing with nowhere to go. Nashper Billa committed to a lane. That lane closed up by the time he got there. Man, that was a huge, huge impact. And there's the near miss as well for Jason Maines as Zach Range was sliding back down the track. Give you another shot of this one here in slow motion this time. There's the first big hit for the 99. And then Nashper Billa just no chance to slow up. All 4 tires off the ground. And then lands on the hood there of Richard Elliott. So you wonder how much damage that's going to do. Dylan Jones sneaks by mostly unscathed on the outside. Looks like he did get clipped there towards the end. So another big wreck that puts us under caution here. Still not even at the halfway point in this race. And it's Zach Range, the main culprit of this one. In terms of who got the worst damage, at least still in the pits. You see him getting ready to pull out of the pits. 19 of 50 laps complete officially. So yeah, it'll be 20 when they cross the line. This time looking like maybe 21 to go when we grab the green flag again. And it is the 60 of Jeff Merck out front. Good run for him so far. Garrett Maines in second. Tyler Vickery in third. He's up 29 from where he started. Malik Ray in the 5 car. He is up 12 from where he started tonight. In that 4th spot, Justin Mills 5th, Kevin Freese in 6th, Ken McCullough Jr. 7th, Mike Davenport in 8th, David Sheets 9th, and Brian Bassard rounding out your top 10. So again, as we come around this time, looking to grab the 1 to go signal We are going to take our first side-by-side break of the night. We will be right back. Stick with us as we take a break from Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the tribal.
Oh, he gets over it into the lead on the record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3
Oh,
deep.
he blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Green flag back in the air at Talladega Superspeedway. 21 of 50 laps complete. And out of the gate on this restart, it was another dead heat all the way to turn 1, now through turn 1. As Jeff Merck leads the outside, Garrett Maines on the inside. Toyota versus Chevy now making a three-way battle as Ford will tag along. Justin Mills goes to the middle. He'll have help from the captain, Ken McCullough Jr. Merck's going to get clear up top with Malik and Kevin. Nobody jumps down as a couple jump up. And watch for Garrett here to maybe get some help from somebody else taking the risk to jump up, but so far no takers. Everybody's still stuck at the bottom. Ooh, check up right there with a 15. Looks like everybody's going to hold on to it. A lot of stacking up now. Is going to take a run here on the bottom with Brian Bessard. Jeremy Osborne just above him in the 41, now making his way to the front. He's one of the guys in those head-to-head battles going against J.R. Miller. And now we're going to see another one there from Osborne. Didn't like the first one, but he's going to try it again. Garrett Maines is going to jump to the bottom. He'll try to pull a little bit of a draft. He gets some help now from the 2-car. Starting to get a lot of new players towards the front. I believe the 2 machine might be Devin Ray making a comeback after being involved in some of the earlier troubles. Devin Ray actually currently, I believe that is the 2 machine. But up top, how about the single file action starting to try to get itself working together a little bit better. I mean, this is the first time tonight that we have seen more than probably about I'd say 3 to 4 row breakaway from the top lane. Now the bottom's going to get to pushing here. Garrett Maines one of the best to ever do it, and right now he is pushing Osborne for all he's worth. Look at those 2 tandem away, trying to see if they can get back even with your leader, Jeff Merck. Now Garrett's going to push Osborne here for all he's worth, unless Osborne starts to get a little too dicey and the 39 might pull high, or if he just runs out of temps, but he's going to need that middle lane to start forming up for that to be a case, and right now that's just not looking like the way it's going to be. Up top, it's still Jeff Merck and Malik Ray. Malik, no thought on making a move yet. You wonder if he jumped low, would he get help from the 5 of Kevin Freeze, or does Freeze stay high? Davenport's going to make a move all the way to the low side now. He did a good job there. The one thing you got to be careful of, though, is the runs are just so massive in these cars that What one moment looks like you're clear, the next moment could be you are not, and you're too late, and you get split in the middle. Hung out to dry as you go to the back of the field here. What a move, though, right there from Malik Ray. He just did the old switcheroo, jumped to the bottom, got pushed clear, jumped right back up, and was able to pick up the lead in the process. And so now 3 by 3 as they cross the stripe. Mike Davenport leads the bottom. Garrett Maines leads the middle. And Malik Ray leads the top. Kyler Wynn, you see, stuck back a couple positions on the inside as well. There's the 2 of Devin Ray. Oh, drifted up the 41, not clear. Navarro has to cut him a huge break. Jeremy Onford almost just cleaned out, Christopher McCullough. Not sure if he got a sour push or was just trying to jump up, but man, that was another really, really close call that somehow didn't end in the big one. You see that as, again, broken up the momentum for this middle and bottom line. Logan York now leads the middle with Christopher McCullough and J.R. Miller in tow. And on the bottom, it is Ken McCullough Jr. Mike Davenport looks like Ken's going to jump back up to the middle. Maybe thinking about trying to do a little bit of side draft in here as a couple more will shuffle to the bottom. But nothing really working yet as up top. Make it now about a 10-car breakaway just about, with Malik Ray leading, Garrett Maines pushing, Jeff Merck back in 3rd, Kevin Freese 4th, Justin Mills in 5th, Cody Nagels in 6th, Michael Triscaro 7th, Matt Lee 8th, and Dustin Carruthers finding out your top 9. But here comes the battle for 10th. Back on the inside, Ken McCullough Jr., Logan York. Those are 2 of the more aggressive pushers in the series. Want for them to maybe try to pull a side draft, tuck back down to the bottom going into turn 3. Just trying to do whatever they can to get back to the front. Boy, Logan is pushing everything he's worth, and right now it's a good time to go take a cockpit view there. So he got just a little bit offset there. He's going to get quickly back to the bumper of Ken McCullough Jr. And I mean, you see it there. Look how big the spoiler is. Goes almost, it almost looks like it goes about the height of the windshield there for Logan York. That's what's allowing him to get these big runs and pull right up to the back bumper of Ken McCullough Jr. But as a result, when 2 cars tandem together for too long, the one pushing is going to start to get hot, as we're seeing right here with Logan York. He's going to keep it together, though, now and keep it in the middle as he gets back to the bumper of Ken McCullough Jr. Bottom lane starting to form, though. Michael Triscaro, on the other hand, up top, sitting just behind Cody Nagels. And even as he runs back, what you notice is just how hard it is to see when you're running that close to the car in front of you. Outside, it's a little bit easier, but I'm telling you, if you are one of the guys pushing on this inside lane, it's not an easy task to see the car in front of you. And you can see that a little bit right here with Devin Ray as he gets closer. Things get a little bit harder to see, but a lot of side drafting still towards the middle portion of this pack. Is that middle lane. They're trying to see if they can pull the top back just a little bit. Now, we know in the next gens that doesn't really work. Now, not sure if that's the case in these cars. They continue to try it, but we've had a couple more cycle to the bottom here. John Ward, Devin Ray. Looks like Zach Range as well in the 99 who was involved in that last incident. Trying to get back to the front. It's a big surge of momentum, too. Logan York sees it. He's going to drop low. Does Ken McCullough Jr. try to cover? He won't. He'll stay in the middle for now. He'll await help from his teammate there, Christopher McCullough, who's getting a push right now from Andrew Navarro. You can see as that push starts to get there, Chris has to check up ever so slightly. Nice job, everybody, to keep it together. But, man, it seems like after all the aggression we had early, things finally starting to calm down a little bit here. We may get some green flag laps in and maybe a chance for a pit stop. Don't remember the exact lap these guys went back green, but certainly looking like they can keep this up right now. There is definitely a chance that we could see a green flag pit stop. If not, it's going to certainly be really, really close to making it all the way to the finish. But now that bottom line has jumped all the way down, they've gotten 2 really good pushers linked up. Devin Ray, John Ward on the back of Logan York. All of a sudden, that top lane not looking so dominant anymore. Watch out for the middle. Kyler Wynn is pushing Navarro all over the place. You saw the 42. Fishtailing right there through 1 and 2. Now they're going to get Logan York to jump up top. Big surge of momentum right here, potentially coming from this middle line. Is now looks like Navarro and Wynn both get cleared. They drop low. They don't. Instead, the 3-car tandem into turn 3. The 18 started to bring himself back into the mix as well. That's Brock Westmoreland in the Budweiser car. A couple others going to jump down, including Garrett Maines. He rode behind Malik for a while, but now he wants a chance at the lead for himself. And going down to the middle with help from Logan York. Oh, now there's contact. They're going to wreck again. It's the big one this time as Jeff Merck gets up in the air. We had another car get up. I think it was Joshua Watson. They are still wrecking hard. Cody Nagels into the wall. Nowhere for the 6 to go. Trevor Osmouth is in it. Michael Triscaro. Tyler Vickery, David Sheets. Oh, Mark Vondell, almost more contact right there. We got a bumper sitting just before the start-finish line. If any fans want to go jump the catch fence, that's free merchandise. It's still sitting there. Not sure whose car that's off of. I'm sure we'll get a good chance to figure it out here once we take a replay. 5th caution of the night. Now, we did make it halfway before this one, but nonetheless, Still a lot of hard racing here tonight. And again, things seemed like they were starting to calm down, but fortunately that did not last for long. And Jeff Merck, we've been talking about the bad luck for a while. Things started to turn around a little bit, but thinking maybe they turn back around here tonight with this wreck here. I mean, this is going to really hurt his chances of having a good shot at getting the win here tonight. And I believe that he's actually going head-to-head with one of his former teammates. I know we mentioned it at the start of the broadcast, but yeah, sure enough, Jeff Merck versus Cody Nagels. Now, both guys were involved in this wreck, but question is going to potentially be who got the worst damage out of it all. So let's go back first to the TV follow cam here. In fact, maybe we'll go to TV6, see if we can't figure out exactly what starts this whole wreck. Now, they just started getting fanned out 3 wide again at the front, and I almost thought it was maybe, was it Kevin Freeze, who gets some help here out back from maybe Justin Mills. So you see after they get a side draft, Merck pulls back up here. He's lining up a big push on the back of Malik Ray. Gets him a little bit sideways there. I think Merck realized he was going to get him sideways, so he checks up just a little bit. That gets Kevin Freeze into the back bumper of Merck, gets Merck out of shape, and then when Merck tries to save it, drives it down, and unfortunately just runs out of room as he gets into the inside line, and then Freeze Mills nowhere to go. There's the big, big hit for Jeff Merck. It almost looked like Freeze drove under him right there. That's definitely going to be a wild cockpit view here. We'll have to go back and take a look at that in just a moment, but I want to go to the chopper view here for the cockpit view rather for Jeff Merck and take a listen. Does he have to burp the throttle? Yeah, he does, just barely, but he realizes that he's going to get him offset. And so that slight hiccup out of the throttle was all it took for Kevin Freeze to get to his bumper. And Kevin hits him pretty square. I think it's just the fact that it's a checkup and maybe just slightly offset one direction. And again, definitely seem like these cars are more sensitive than last time, which is kind of interesting because, again, the track temp's cool, but not sure if it's something with the new update or what the deal is, but some of the pushes really, really struggling here tonight. And man, still, what a hellacious hit there for Jeff Merck. As there you see everybody trying to slide down the bottom. That was Joshua Watson, the other car who got up in the air. As there's the 04 Matt Lee trying to, well, not really trying to slide through, but sliding back up the tribal. He gets tagged by Trevor Osnoth, David Sheets. Joshua Watson's going to go back up. He'll tag the outside wall as well. I mean, this wasn't the end of it. I mean, they were wrecking everywhere, even further up. It's the 45 of Christopher McCullough, who lost a bumper there. And then they finally all come to a grinding halt just about 100 yards or so before the start-finish line. Man, oh man, what a wreck it was here. Let's see if we can take a different angle of this here. Go back to the TV follow. I want to see... Go all the way back here to Michael Triscaro, who was just above where the incident first started. Kevin Freeze got plowed into too, man. Him and Justin Mills nowhere to go, and then there you see Michael Triscaro getting turned. Zach Range gets hit, but somehow he's able to save it. And then there's the awkward hit. Looked like Joshua Watson may have been fine if nothing else just gets turned. But see it make the back tires jump off the ground. As, oh my goodness, him and Kevin Freeze almost with another hit as there was J.R. Miller coming back up the track where those two made heavy contact. So we'll take one more view at this here. I think we're going to do the right side here of Kevin Freeze and the wild ride that he got to experience and see, of course, with Jeff Merck wrecking just in front of him, and I think he may have sort of drove under him here during this wreck. Let's see. There's the initial contact, and yeah, the right rear definitely shows it a little bit there. Oh my goodness. Man, what a brutal wreck for Jeff Merck. See him rip the rear bumper off. And so again, as we continue to wrap up the fifth caution here of the night, 20 laps to go, so time now starting to wind down, and guess what? We are good to go on fuel the rest of the way, so that's certainly going to ramp the aggression level up even more if it isn't high enough already. But the 43 of Jason Maines is being scored as your leader. First time being in the lead here on the night for Jason, but not surprised to see one of the veterans in money racing and iRacing in general trying to get the job done here tonight. Garrett Maines, teammate and son, in second. Not sure if they're working together tonight, but I'm sure they're going to help each other out here a little bit. Andrew Navarro back in third. Moving on to fourth, it's Logan York, followed by Malik Ray, Colin Bowden. That is a row of pros right there. Kyler Wynn, the Podium 500, 2024 Podium 500 winner. We know he knows how to get it done at super speedways, especially in cars that can take a lot of pushing, as these Gen 6 cars have proven here on the night. Kevin Freeze looks like we took that fast spare, got the damage hammered out, and he's back ready to go green. Ken McCullough Jr., John Ward will line up side by side. And there's Christopher McCullough and Jeremy Osborne. Well, I know we talked about some of the big matchups to watch tonight, but I'm going to give you one of the matchups that I'm keeping an eye on here tonight. and that's Jeremy Osborne versus J.R. Miller. Right now, give the advantage to Osborne. J.R. Miller was involved in that last wreck, but it's never over until it's over. Still going to be 19 laps to go, and JR, he's going to try to mount a comeback here to get back in front. Nagels versus Merck. Nagel's certainly going to have a little bit of an advantage, I think, after that last wreck with the damage Merck sustained. And then, of course, Matthew Patton versus Christopher McCullough. Can't keep that one out. Kevin Freeze versus Zach Range. Boy, that one just got a whole lot more interesting with Kevin having to use that faster pair there during that last wreck. All right, here we go. Rolling back up into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. Got a little crank it up here in the Gen 6 series. Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment. That'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. And you can see that aggression level picking up right now. 2x2 at the front. Ken McCullough Jr. pushing Kyler Wynn. They get out of shape. That's going to break their momentum. And now that gives a huge surge of momentum to the outside. Here comes Garrett Maines and Andrew Navarro. And Jason Maines, rather. Andrew Navarro, I was looking for him. Wasn't too much further back. I didn't think at the time, but similar schemes. Not similar positions right now. Navarro back about 5th on the inside. Now the 03 Ken McCullough Jr. has to back up to the back bumper there of John Ward. He's able to do so and watch for that middle to get stacked up here and try to get a run back going. Do they get any more takers? Kevin Freeze has to jump to the middle further back. Michael Triscaro tries to follow, but the hole unfortunately closed up. Logan York gave it a thought. Now he jumps back up in front of Devin Ray. Devin has to cut him a little bit of a break there. And the top, they're out in front, but they may not be for long because the momentum is broken up. And here comes Malik Ray and Kyler Wynn on the bottom. Big push on the outside there. Now Garrett's going to try to drop low for the side draft. It's not going to matter because Kyler's pushed for all he's worth. They're going to wreck out back. Contact, a couple are going to go around. It's Freeze and Mills. Caution is out. So it looks like it's going to end as 2 cars. Ooh, Freeze split back up on the track, but he saved it somehow. And it was Justin Mills, I believe, who's going to get the worst of this one, as it looks like that car, can't tell if it's crab walking now. Go to the cockpit view and find out for ourselves here. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, he's got major, major damage there. So he's just going to immediately tow it, try to get this thing repaired, as looks like he may have had a tank slapper into the outside wall. Let's back, see what caused this one. I mean, you saw the 4, obviously, as the first car to get out of shape, and then from there, Kevin Freeze got collected. Go to the chopper view for starters here. This actually happens again right as they come off of turn 2, where the cars unload as the banking transitions to straightaway. And I was trying to figure out right there if that was just, what causes the checkup here? I mean, he's running in line. It looks like the car's maybe kind of riding up the hill a little bit, but he seems fine. And then maybe he is checking out. I'm just not sure if he gets loose or if he's checking up a little bit. We'll go to the cockpit view here and get the answer ourselves. Find Ward. Oh, yeah, he does. He washes up just ever so slightly, and it almost sounded like he may have just barely burped the throttle to try to counter that. And when he does so, Watch what that's going to do here for Kevin Freese and Matt Lee. That's going to pull them right up to his back bumper now. Lee's going to try to come a little bit of a break, but Kevin's running really, really close. That slight checkup again gets the 5 into the 4, sends him into the right side. Bumper of Justin Mills. And then Mills gets down into Zach Range, who goes below the apron, but ultimately saves it. And as Justin Mills comes back up, gets turned back to the right, gets into Jeff Merck. He gets into the outside wall. You see David Sheath, Christopher McCullough, the two teammates piling into each other. And then Kevin Freese gets turned here. And somehow, some way, saves that race car. Fortunately, not so lucky there for Justin Mills as you saw him go down and tag the inside wall. We'll have to go look at the save from Kevin Freese in a minute. I mean, that is unbelievable. We already had a great one tonight with Trevor Osronoff, but, I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Some of the saves these guys are making. And, oh, that was actually a big hit there with Mike Davenport. I wonder if that's what broke the suspension. Because he hit the inside wall, but the big damage really came from when him in the 55 made that significant contact there. Take one more look here. As he gets turned, there's the 5 of Kevin Freese. I mean, watch the 5 car before it goes out of frame here. I mean, he is 90 degrees dead sideways facing facing the racetrack, which has oncoming traffic, and somehow he's going to save this thing. Does a Houdini act, but man, oh man. Another close call in terms of what could have been the big one. Somehow ended up as one that only really is going to take out Justin Mills. I'm not sure if he's still got a fast pair. If he does, see him back out here. If he doesn't, though, that certainly could be a night ender. All right, here we go. What you've been waiting for, the onboard view for Kevin Freese. This is in real time, so watch how the hands and well, you won't see the footwork, but listen to the throttle here for Kevin Freese. There you go. He gets turned, he locks it down, keeps the wheel to the left, lets it slide back in the right direction, releases the brake, and continues to roll on. Man, that is such a nice save right there by Kevin Freese. As we go back live, there's the Skycam Talladega Superspeedway. But up front, it is Malik Ray being scored as your leader. Kyler Wynn in second. Garrett Maines third. That's 2 Toyotas and a Chevy for your top 3. Brock Westmoreland in fourth. Colin Bowden in fifth. Jason Maines sixth. Logan York seventh with Devin Ray in eighth. Ken McCullough Jr. in ninth. And Jeremy Osborne rounding out your top 10. And I'm telling you, if we get a chance here, see if he's in here. Yeah, we do. I want to get an interview here with Jeremy Osborne, the job he's been doing here tonight. Hey, Jeremy, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, what a run you got going here tonight. I mean, you're still in the head-to-head battle, but overall, a top 10 run for most of the night. At this point, though, man, how challenging have the conditions been out there, and how have you felt about these cars?
I really like the cars. Biggest thing is wreck avoidance right now. Well, that thing kind of hoping this goes green for the rest of this and maybe make up a couple spots and even get in the payout.
Well, I know you obviously are concerned about the payout, but I got to think what crosses your mind is that head-to-head battle. Now, you know that the guy you're racing sits right in front of you there, Ken McCullough Jr. Does that change the mindset all here on how you approach this?
No, I'm racing JR Miller.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. I accidentally mixed that up. Yeah, my bad. So, sure enough here tonight, JR Miller actually right now is being scored a little bit further back. Still, same question, though. I mean, does that change the mindset when you know you've got the advantage, or do you just try to stay aggressive?
I'm going to play safe for a few more laps, as much safe as I can, and see how much I get pushed and see what everybody else does. But kind of keep an eye on him, but keep an eye on going forward still.
Sounds good. Well, we appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
Thank you.
And, well, let's tell you what. Regardless of everybody thinking we're perfect, we're not. No, of course, just in good fun. But, yeah, I mixed that up there for sure. Yeah, no, it's Ken McCullough Jr. going against, I believe, and again, we mix these. I know we talked about it at the tip of the broadcast, but there's still quite a few to keep an eye on. But it was Ken McCullough Jr. versus John Ward, and then Jeremy Osborne versus J.R. Miller. So, apologize for mixing that up. John Mullihan versus Kyler Wynn, by the way, gave that advantage to Kyler Wynn for the moment. Cody Nagels versus Jeff Merck. And then on the other side of the bracket, you got Matthew Patton versus Christopher McCullough. Logan York versus Brian Boussard. Kevin Freese versus Zach Range. And right now, you could give that advantage, I believe, to Zach Range in the 99. Not sure where the 5 was running after that wreck, but yeah, it looks like Zach's in front. And then Michael Triscaro, Colin Bowden, still going to be duking this thing out here for the final 12 laps. For everybody still tuning in, appreciate you being here. Hope your Thursday night's going good. Shirley Cox, Devin Ray, Wuggy Wolf, Fitz, Sean Corbett, Donalda Adams says, great job broadcasting, 7 C's. Good to see everybody out here. Hope you're having a good night. Willie Wolf says, thanks, Ghost Racing, for all the hard work. Absolutely, you're welcome. Thank you for coming out here tonight and supporting these guys. Here we go. Back into the restart zone. We're going to go up front, Win and Malik. Might as well call them two pros. Whatever you want to call them, they're two of the best in super speedway racing. Oh, trouble out back. We got one in the wall at the absolute back of the field here. That was the 15 of Ryan Newman. He saves it, and him and Matt Lee are going to get together, but man, that was a close call right out of the gate for potentially another caution. By the way, 12 laps to go. It's go time now. The 38 gets down in the apron. Nash Brambilla. Did he save it? I couldn't tell if he did. He did. Brambilla holds on. He's going to merge back onto the track at a 2. Now he's got to get back up to speed and try to hold on to the draft. Up front, the outside is rolling again here. Malik Ray leading the outside with a push from Kyler Wynn. A lot more out of shape pushing there towards the middle. Jeremy Osborne's going to get shuffled to the middle of the pack. And the outside, I think, is trying to organize at least for the first couple rows. Logan York with a big move to the top in front of Andrew Navarro. Osborne still getting a big push. Now it's from Dustin Carruthers. The two lime green and yellow cars trying to work together, as is Garrett Maines and Colin Bowden on the bottom. Bowden tried to jump up. Move wasn't there. The door was slammed shut. And he's got to jump right back down to the bottom to help Garrett. Those two don't get along the best, but right now they're going to have to work together if they want to make some progress. And up top, John Ward with another big push there just from behind Dylan Jones. Here goes Cody Nagels and Andrew Navarro. One of the first times we're seeing Cody really try to push the issue here tonight, but he knows when it's crunch time, that means it's go time. Cody going to be pushing for all he's worth here on the bottom right now. You see him sizing it up, way to get that run. He's got it, and there's the push. Now he's going to try to stay locked on to the rear bumper of Navarro as long as he can now. Notice that when these cars get pushed, they have a tendency to almost stick together. You can't slide across the bumper quite as easily as you can on the next gens. But these two certainly looking like they are a pretty good duo for the moment. Cody's got him up to about the fourth car now on that outside line, trying to gain some more here as they work through the tri-oval. 10 laps to go. Just 10 more laps here in the round of 16 at Talladega Superspeedway for March Madness for PGR ESPORTS. And Malik Ray still looking to see if he can capture one here tonight. Be his first win in the Gen 6 Series. And I believe it would be his first win in PGR. He's been doing this now a couple weeks. One of the Coke drivers out back. Ward almost looked like he got turned. But now they're going to all bail on the 5. You saw the move down to the bottom by the 18 of Brock Westmoreland. Now he gets stacked up. Could be it. Oh my goodness, they save it again. The 42 of Navarro and the 18 of Brock Westmoreland. Hold on, now they're going to wreck though. Up top, Triscaro, Devin Ray go around. Ward slides through the grass. They're still wrecking up top in the tri-oval. Got a bumper cover flying and a lot of torn up race cars. Looks like everybody's finally going to get back rolling. Heavy damage to Jack Hignite in the 07. Hadn't had the chance to talk about him yet tonight. We've seen a lot over in the R&R Racing League, but certainly not the first time you wanted to hear us talk about it was in a wreck, but unfortunately, looks like that's how it went. So let's go back here. See where this one's all going to go wrong. Actually, back this up. This is the wrong wreck, by the way, so give me just a moment. All right, here we go. This is in the travel. First of all, before we go to this, let's go back and take a look at this save that we saw from Brock Westmoreland and Andrew Navarro. And we're going to go on board here with Brock because he's going to have the wildest angle. Not only does he see Navarro make a wicked save, he makes a wicked save himself. As you see, he's pulled up the back bumper of Kyler in. Oh, Kyler is just a little bit high when he gets there. And at the last second, Brock gets a huge shove. And as a result, just gets him offset. It almost hooks Kyler. Kyler saves it, but then that's not the save that we were all super excited about. It was a great save by Kyler, don't get me wrong. But then when you saw the save made here by Brock and Navarro, this was almost synchronized. So it causes a stack up with Nagels and Garrett. And then these two are both going to go for a spin on the apron here. And Brock just straightens it out like nothing ever happened. And now there is banking here under the apron at Talladega. That helped these guys straighten the cars out. Unlike Daytona where that would have been a lot harder. But then up front just looks like the top lane's kind of moving around a little bit here. But then as they start to shift up, you see Malik work back to the top. Devin Ray's working back to the top. And then the 43 of Jason Maines is going to try to do the same. And I wonder if Devin was maybe trying to cut Jason a little bit of a break there to let him up. But there's just too big of a run out back. It started to stack him up and fortunately led to this incident. go take a different perspective. This one here from the aerial shot. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happens here. Can't say for sure, so we're going to look at it from this view. But yeah, so Devin gets clear. I mean, he's clear right there. Matthew Patton lines up behind. It's just slight contact. And now at this point, I think Devin maybe is trying to help him save it, but he's getting pushed out back and then ultimately gets back down into the 43 before he goes pretty hard into the outside wall. And then everybody else now just trying to miss him, trying to drive through. Dylan Jones, Jeremy Osborne, Jack Hignite. Big hit for Matthew Patton when he got turned back up to the outside wall. You saw Devin Ray make more significant contact as well. The 0-2 of Logan York going for a ride through the grass. Give you another angle of this one from TV6. There's the first incident, but Michael Triscaro, man, not been his night tonight. Just a lot of bad luck. Not that he was doing anything wrong, but that might be a night ender there with the damage that looks like he may have sustained there. I don't know if he's got that fastball left after being involved in a couple here on the night. Take one more look for the restart cam, and yeah, you can definitely say with pretty good confidence that Matthew Patton got the worst of that one. See 0-3 here. He's trying to save it. Then once he gets back down the track, gets turned back up after getting T-boned by Kevin Freeze. That's what sent him hard into that outside wall. Then he gets bumper slammed from behind by Dylan Jones. He might make one more hit, and the bumper just falls off. He's had enough here for the night. And if Patton doesn't have a fast car, that could certainly bring an end to his night as well. So it's currently 8 laps to go. We'll get the green flag back. It looks like it's going to be probably about 7 laps to get. Nope, I think it's going to be 6 to go. So these guys should take the one to go right here. And it's Kyler Wynn being scored as your leader. Malik Ray back in second. Jason Maines in third. Cody Nagels fourth. Garrett Maines fifth. Colin Bowden in sixth. Kevin Freeze seventh. John Ward eighth. Ken McCullough Jr. in ninth. And David Sheets rounds out your top 10. So again, 6 laps to go. That's not very long. Everybody good to go on fuel at least if we finish this thing under the scheduled distance. Don't forget, we do have 3 green-white checkers. And if we were to get that, there's certainly a chance that maybe fuel starts to become an issue. But, I mean, look at the names up front. I mean, it's no surprise to see these guys up front each and every week. They always find a way. Kyler Wynn, Malik Ray, those are 2 of the best of the best. Jason Maines, a veteran. Cody Nagels, ERA, Omega Cup winner. Garrett Maines, another Coke Series driver. Colin Bowden, another Coke Series driver. Kevin Freeze, a Super Speedway specialist. I mean, it's just, you got so many good guys here at the front. I cannot wait for the action we're getting ready to see here for these last 6 laps. Now, I know we've had a chance to talk about a lot of the head-to-head matchups, but we haven't talked about the regular payouts here that's got a lot of the guys that maybe aren't in the March Madness bracket still out here and still want to race on the night. So let's go over and see what they're looking like here tonight. Again, Gen 6 Series, $20 entry was the feed tonight. First place going home with $200. 180 to second, 160 to third, 140 to fourth, 120 to fifth, and $40 to sixth. Now, I know it says based off of 45, and I believe they actually had 40 here on the night. 41 make it, so those payouts should be pretty close to good. But nonetheless, still really, really good payouts for $20 and having a chance to make 10 times your money. Not a bad way to spend a Thursday night. Question is going to be, who's going to be the lucky man to get in victory lane here tonight? And will we see potentially a new winner? Kyler Wynn, I don't believe it would be his first win, but I believe it might be for Malik Ray. Certainly wouldn't be his first time finishing the money or running up front. But we're getting ready to find out. A couple more people in the chat. Sean Corbett says, awesome broadcast, dude. Thank you, Sean. Certainly appreciate it. Appreciate you for tuning in as well. By the way, PGR will be making a return again next week. We hope to have Matthew Baker and Dawson Wise back in the booth with us. Of course, that will be for the Elite 8, Round 3 of March Madness. But here we go. Still got to cap the race off here tonight. 50 laps. And it all comes down to the final 6. Back into the restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air. Good jump from Kyler Wynn. He got just enough of a start to beat Malik Ray to the line, and actually a little bit more than that as he'll get clear of the 5, and he's going to jump up before they get to turn 1. Now, I'm telling you, in general, not the best thing to be the leader on the last lap of a track like Talladega, but in these cars in the next gens, the lead is the last place I'd want to be, as Kyler's going to jump down here looking for a side draft, trying to apply some of the skills he learned in the next gens. Cody Nagel sees it. He says, thank you very much. I'll take the top. And that has stalled both of those lanes out a little bit. They'll start to get some momentum towards the end of the straightaway. But right now, it's Garrett Maines, Kevin Freeze, and Jason Maines all linked together. Ken McCullough Jr. up to 4th. Right now, he is winning his head-to-head battle. But he's got to run. He's got a choice to make. Kyler Wynn with a big move, and he's going to jump to the top. The 0-3 of Ken McCullough Jr. right now sitting in the middle of no man's land. Now he's going to get locked up with his teammate there, David Sheets. Colin Bowden there as well. 3 by 3 as they cross the stripe. It'll be 5 laps to go. Now Ken McCullough Jr. has to jump up a lane to cover. Up top, right now you got 3 really strong cars and potentially 3 guys working together tonight lined up. Nagels is going to jump back to the bottom now, continues to try to work his way further towards the front. And I mean, if you're at the back, you got to go. There is no sitting back. In fact, the pack that we have right now that's almost behind these leaders a little bit is the pack that has the more aggressive racing right now. I mean, they were 2 and 3 wide. Looks like they maybe are starting to realize they need to organize a little bit if they want any chance at catching back up. We'll see if they're able to do just that. But up front, Jason Main still leading as now those 3 cars started to tandem away. Kevin Freeze got unattached, so he's got to back off. Now we see a big side draft to the bottom lane. Malik Ray, Kyler Wynn trying to hold out. Now Cody Nagels to jump back up to the top. And that's going to be 4 versus 2. They're going to need some more help with Dustin Carruthers on the bottom, but he's not there just yet. Navarro on the bottom as well. He's throwing himself into the mix here late. A couple of guys coming out of nowhere here late in the going. Thomas Parker looking to see if he can make a run to the front. Colin Bowden, Logan York. How about the 18 machine? Was involved in a wreck earlier. Brock Westmoreland right back to the front. And Tony Cox up inside the top 15 with Zach Range. And the only question now is how long can they do this? Not much longer. Ken McCullough Jr. was not clear. He pulled up in front of Navarro. And it looked like that sent both of those two with pretty significant contact into the outside wall there. They were able to save it, but gotta think Navarro probably wasn't too happy about that one. Now him and Colin Bowden are able to get linked up as Ken McCullough Jr. sticks with his teammate in the middle. There's the move for the 42. He'll jump down to the inside. And it seems like these guys up top are starting to figure out that if they side draft hard enough and stay close together, they're able to prevent that bottom line from making any progress and really being able to get any closer to the front. The bottom is going to try something different, though, as they're staying in the middle. Maybe trying to side draft that top lane back. Ooh, Navarro's getting all he can handle right now from Colin Bowden. Now they're going to wreck out back, 2 into the wall. This should probably bring the caution back out. It does, as we got one sliding hard across the racetrack here. That was Logan York. I think he clobbered the inside wall. The 0-2 is involved. Matt Lee looks like he gets back rolling. We still got more smoke ahead here. Oh, that's the 3. Matthew Patton. Christopher McCullough slides in late. Thomas Parker's in it. So we are going to head to overtime. Man, looks like there was a chance that maybe we were going to get this thing wrapped up. And where there's a will, there was a way. I was hoping I was going to go get to eat my sandwich before midnight, but nonetheless, try this thing again and get the finish that we're hoping for here. Let's back this up. See where it starts. It starts closer to the front. Now, you saw Ken McCullough Jr. on that borderline block that, well, I say borderline. I mean, he wasn't clear, but that wasn't what started this one. That was about a lap ago. And so if we go to the TV follow view here, the 97, I think this is where it starts with the checkup. As Colin Bowden gets out of shape, and then he's trying to jump back up. Ken McCullough Jr. gives him a spot. It actually starts with Trevor Osranoff in the 89. Does he, I mean, he was riding behind here, so I'm a little shocked to see him get so out of shape without a push. I think he gets him to the outside wall. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happens here. I think he's going to either clip the outside wall or clip the 07 there of Jack Hignite. Let's go to the chopper view. This should be a little bit more telling. Watch the 89 here. You see he's ducking down to the middle. He sees the 07 getting to the wall, and yeah, he looks like he just makes some contact with the back of the 07, and that sends his car down into Logan York. It's going to send York up into the 07 of Jack Hignite, which helps kind of cushion him from slamming the outside wall, but he's still going to make contact, and now everybody's going to scatter to miss it. Dustin Carruthers runs into Osranoff, but most of these guys actually did a really good job of missing this wreck, not getting too much damage. Just a little bit of door banging going on down there, and then Osranoff Carruthers get back together. Those two are teammates, by the way, and then there's the 51 of Parker and Carruthers. The more contact, Trascaro gets involved, so that second wreck, definitely one that maybe should have been avoided. Those guys probably aren't too happy, but Logan York definitely caught my eyes. We saw him slide down the racetrack and slide, I believe, head on into this inside wall. Unless he somehow was able to straighten it off after. He's locking it down, but yeah, it's still a pretty good shot. Yeah, heavy rear bumper damage as well, so he'll have to get that repaired. But man, Thomas Parker, I really feel for him because he had such a great run going tonight. He was doing everything right here at the end, put himself in position, missed this wreck, just to unfortunately get involved in the latter portion of it there. Then Osranoff bumped doors, but then you see they're all trying to save it and get back on track. And the contact's made, and then they're going to kind of wreck a little bit to the high side before more contact's made. There's Thomas Parker trying to come back up the track. Michael Trascaro nowhere to go. But again, another wreck where I don't necessarily think it's going to take a ton of fast pairs. It's Christopher McCall you see piling in at the end. He also had nowhere to go. Let's take a look here from the wall cam. So one more final view of this here from on the nose of Logan York. As this checkup up top ultimately leads to the 0-2 getting turned around. Logan York, another guy that was doing everything right tonight, puts himself in position. And then there's the hit to the inside wall that he immediately has to tow. Or I thought he towed immediately. I meant to say it looks like he was able to get it back to the pits. So as we go back live up front, Jason Maines being scored as your leader. Garrett Maines second, Kevin Freeze in third. Cody Nagle's fourth, going to be pushing second on the outside and the lead pusher. Andrew Duvall back in fifth, John Ward in sixth. And we might have skipped over, no, we did not. Colin Bowden in seventh, Tony Cox eighth, Ken McCullough Jr. in ninth, and David Sheets rounding out short top 10. Again, this is going to put us in our first official overtime. We've got 3 attempts, hoping that these guys can keep it clean, though, and wrap it up in 1. Green-white checkered rules are as follows. Leader will take the green flag if he makes it all the way back to take the white flag, and this race will be official. However, if not, we'll rack them up and try this thing again, and we can do that 3 times in total till we crown ourselves winner here tonight at Talladega. We're going to go take one more break, get things ready, get things set up for this final chaotic 2 laps that we are getting ready to see here at Talladega. Stick with us for the conclusion of March Madness Round of 2 at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for overtime number 1. By the way, I realized it looked like the desktop audio was a little loud. Let me know if that was the case. We got it fixed now, just in time. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Who's going to get the job done here tonight? It's a good restart from the outside. The 43 of Jason Maines gets clear. He's going to jump down. I think what they're trying to do here is see if he can't pull the 39 and the 5 up the track. Those 3 can get clear. It's going to be a hard trio to pass, and I think they're going to be able to do just that. Cody Nagle's getting all he can handle out back right now from John Ward, but the side draft not going to be strong enough. They'll wash up off of turn 2. Kevin Freeze jumps up. He's clear. And now we see the move from Garrett Maines and Jason Maines further back. Everybody was scrambling. Now they start to line up. Here's a move on the inside from Kyler Wynn and Malik Ray. And they know that they're not going to win it from as far back as they were. As big as the runs are in these cars, you still got to make something happen here before you get to the last 100 yards or so. And so here we go. Out of turn 4, the surge momentum was enough. Big momentum now for the bottom. Here comes the top. Garrett's got a block. They're wrecking big out back. J.R. Miller goes around. Will we stay green? We won't. Caution is out. And I believe it was a 2-car wreck. So we will try this yet again. Logan York able to get back rolling. J.R. Miller, remember, was in that head-to-head battle. Jeremy Osborne, certainly not going to help his chances. Damage he sustained in this one. By the way, Osborne at the time was 32nd. I'm not sure if he was involved in this. I don't think he was. Maybe just in front of it, or just way out something. But the point is, how did this start? So you see Logan York, J.R. Miller are pushing pretty hard here off of turn number 4. And then Logan starts to get, was he trying to jump up? I'm not sure. I'm thinking he wasn't trying to jump up. I'm thinking what happened there is what we've seen happening quite a bit of here tonight, which is where they get a little bit tight, a little bit floaty, if you will, on exit. I think Logan just washed up a little bit right there, and as he tried to tuck back down the line, he was already to the side, or far enough to the right side of J.R. Miller, where instead it's more of a swipe here. They had just gotten clear, it looks like, of the 04 of Matt Lee. And then as he jumps up, hooks him. Again, nothing malicious there, not trying to do it, but, that's what it was at the end of the day. So it's a really, really tough break right there from for J.R. Miller, as well as Logan Yorkton. Oh, my goodness, I did not see that second hit. Wow. That was massive, massive damage right there for J.R. Miller. Not sure who comes along and tags him here. See, the 51 of Parker misses him. This is going to be the 60 of Jeff Merck, I believe it is. Yeah, 78 spinning. Merck's trying to dive low, but it's just unfortunately a little bit too little too late. And yeah, it was heavy, heavy damage for the 60 machine. Take one more view here on the gearbox for J.R. Miller. As this wreck first starts and ultimately how it finishes. So a hard hit for J.R. Miller brings us under caution for in total the 9th time here tonight. And for second time and overtime. So again, this will be green, white, checker number 2. We've got 3 in total. Fun fact, 9 cautions. If we can make it one more, I think we're on average for just about caution every 5 laps rather. Green flag racing. We had a couple of good runs in between, but when the money's on the line at the end, this is just how super speedway racing sometimes goes. You hate when the wrecks happen in the back, especially when the racing is as good as it was up front there. But this is going to mix up things a little bit here, because while Jason Maines is still being scored as your leader, Garrett's in 2nd, but Kyler Wynn in 3rd now. Kevin Freeze back to 4th, Malik Ray 5th, Cody Nagels fell to 6th, Colin Bowden 7th, Andrew Navarro in 8th, John Ward in 9th, Ken McCullough Jr. rounding out your top 10. Well, let's see if we've got anybody sitting around in the Discord still that we can maybe get a quick word with that's up here in the mix. And we saw the contact there for J.R. Miller. But unfortunately, yeah, from the look of it, I'm not seeing anybody that's near the front that we're going to talk to that we haven't already talked to here on the night. Most guys, I think, getting ready anyway, so we'll leave them to it. Expecting to get the 1-to-go signal this time around. And if you had to pick a winner, what do you got? It's a tough one for me, but I think I'm going to have to go with Jason Maines here. He's due for one, and I know I said the lead's probably the worst place to be, but it's one of those things where if it's your time, it's your time, and sometimes at these super speedways right at the end, you need a little bit of that luck. Maybe tonight's the night for Jason. He's got really good pushers behind him. Question is, how loyal will Kyler Wynn stay? If you had to make a second pick, that's not a bad choice. Neither is Garrett Maines, neither is Malik Ray, neither is Kevin Freeze, neither is Cody Nagels. Everybody in your top 10 is a valid pick to win the race here tonight, but can only have one winner. Total payouts, top 6. And again, a chance to move on to the round of 8 if you are in the Sweet 16 currently for that bracket. The lights go off on the pace car. That means 1 lap to go before we go back green. 35 viewers still tuning in here at 12:07 on a Friday morning here on the East Coast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Matt Baker in the chat again. Didn't have him here tonight. Fortunately, as his internet had went out earlier, wasn't able to join the broadcast in time. Dawson Wise not able to make it either. So the reason you're only hearing me tonight, hoping that those guys will be back next week. And Matthew Baker will be doubling as race control. Dawson as a second commentator. And so I'm trying to think here. If fuel, these guys went, I believe everybody's good to go on fuel, but certainly always makes you a little nervous when you see a couple guys sitting below the apron here. In fact, go on board, take a listen here for Malik. He's got it in 4th gear right now, but it sounds like overall he's cruising. I don't think he's really saving too much fuel. You don't hear him pushing the clutch in or turning the car off, so I think most of these guys are pretty good to go. He's maybe just poking out, hoping to get a little bit cooler air. And a lot of people don't realize, but the cautions are not as simple as just pacing around. Yeah, that's all you got to do in terms of physically driving the steering wheel, but you're also making sure that you get these cars as cooled down as you physically can. And to do that, of course, you got to keep it in 4th gear with low RPMs. And it's important, especially for these overtime starts, that you have every degree of temp you can get, because you're going to need it for these final 2 laps. So as soon as you get a caution, you're putting it into 4th. You're not putting the clutch in unless you need to save fuel, because that's not going to help cool the temps any faster. You got to keep everything circulating through the engine while not running too high RPMs either to get the water and oil temps cooled down. So with that knowledge in mind, and with the 2 guys we've got in front and the 2 guys we've got pushing, who is going to get the job done? It's going to be Jason versus Garrett, the mains versus main show. Just behind them, Kyler and Kevin. Who can do the better job pushing? Watch for Jason get clear right off the restart and jump up probably just about as they cross the start-finish line. Here we go into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Good jump on the inside, and as soon as they cross the line, 3, 2, 1, there he goes right up to the top, Jason Maines, and now he is going to try to stay there potentially for the rest of the way with a couple of teammates. Kyler Wynn, Malik Ray going to do the same as they jump up top, and so now it's Cody Nagels currently securing that last payout position. And those 3 already starting to tandem away. Trouble out back. Looking like they're going to wreck again. Sure enough, they are. It's going to send 3, 4 rounds. Does this bring the caution out again? I sure hope it doesn't. Looks like everything's staying green. It's off the racing surface for now, and it does. Make it your 10th caution of the night. And that is going to end the day for Ken McCullough Jr. Unless he's got a fast pair. Tony Cox in this one along with Zach Range. And just more trouble. I mean, this time before these guys even get up to speed all the way. Apologize if I sound a little angry there. I'm getting very hungry. And I really want to see a good finish. And these guys are holding out on me. But here we go. The 03 of Ken McCullough Jr. It's just a stack up is what it is on the outside. And you wonder if that's a product of when we saw Malik and Kyler jump up. I mean, they didn't have a choice. The bottom pretty much faded as soon as Jason jumped up. So I don't think it's a product of them. I mean, they're already up at this point. Cody Nagels, Andrew Navarro start to get locked on. And then there's the 6 getting into the back of the 5. And it's a little bit of a stack up. And they're all just trying to check up. And unfortunately, the checkup leads back to Ken McCullough Jr. He gets tucked that line. Zach Range tries to go low as well. And then they make contact, get together. That sends the 03 down the track. Gets into Tony Cox and the 18 of Brock Westland, who, man, was making such a good comeback here on the night. Wow, what a hit on the inside safety barrier there for Ken McCullough Jr. I think Zach Range, Tony Cox might be okay overall, but yeah, again, if the 03 doesn't have a fast pair, I mean, that's going to end his night for sure. That was a huge, huge hit for Ken McCullough Jr. Here you go. Let's take another angle of it. This is from, we'll go to the TV follow / TV1 view here. And just, you know, we've done a couple next-gen races, and the checkups are similar, but I almost think the checkups, at least from what we've seen up to this point, are a little bit greater, a little bit bigger, if you will. I think that's what's causing a lot of the trouble. And man, Ken McCullough Jr., nothing he could do right there. So he was able to get it back rolling. I think he's able to get back to the pits, but you see that left front tire is up in the air, not looking too good. So as we wrap up, what's going to be, again, your 10th caution of the night and 50 laps worth of racing. Do the math there. We get ready for the green flag again. Hey, 40 viewers, though. We'll take it. Going to be a 2-lap shootout. And, again, the way this works normally here is that unless this wreck is on the first lap in the front of the field in the money positions, race control would let it race out. Now, it is a different race control tonight. Matthew Baker is not here. So I'm not sure if Heath Job will throw the caution or if iRacing will throw the caution or what's going on. All we can do is call all the action from up here in the booth and continue to ask ourselves the question of, are we going to see the white flag? And if we do, who is going to win this race? Matthew Baker says, boo, no caution. Where is Dawson? Not here tonight. Dawson says, tuning in, just got back out of town. Baker, it's going to be a crazy finish. Hey, you got that right, 7Cs. We are all here for it. 2-lap shootout, final one. And again, it is going to be Jason Maines first for this restart, Garrett Maines second, Kevin Freeze in third. So again, a good chance for these guys to try to organize. Kyler Wynn going to be on the outside lead pusher. He is in fourth. Malik Ray in fifth. Cody Nagel sixth. Andrew Navarro back in seventh. Colin Bowden eighth. John Ward in ninth. And David Sheets rounding out your top 10. All right, so as they come around, should get the one to go signal this time. Didn't have this scheduled initially, But we are going to take one more break. We'll go side by side. Stick with us. We will be right back for the finish here at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, get ready, for the third and final overtime finish. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a battle all the way to the finish. And now the question becomes, can we make it that far? Again, if the caution comes out at any point in this first lap, this race will be declared official. And your race winner will be whoever was leading at the time of caution, but hoping that we can make it to the white flag and race this thing out the old-fashioned way. Garrett and Jason making up row 1. Kyler and Kevin making up row 2. Nagels and Ray in row 3. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Good start. This time, Jason Maines, a little bit of a different approach. He gets out in front, and he's going to drop to the bottom. Trying the same thing they did from that first green-white checker. Going to see if they can pull both of the cars behind him clear. Kyler Wynn, though, laying it on the door right now of Garrett Maines. He's holding out for as long as he can, but he needs help. Here comes the cavalry. Cody Nagels is going to arrive on scene, but Colin Bowden jumps up top. David Sheets is going to go up there as well. Kyler throws the block. A lot of zigzagging, but right now it's 2 lanes with all the progress. Garrett throwing a block for all he's worth. Jason, now they're going to wreck. Big wreck, wrecking out back, but more importantly up front. This is going to collect all the guys in front. No caution. Oh my goodness. Carruthers upside down into the catch fence. Up front. This thing's not over though. They kept it green. The field is gone. Annihilated. Forget about them. Up front. This is going to be the race for the win. Jones and Kevin 2x2 for now, but Navarro, Malik, Ray, Garrett Maines, they are not out of this yet. Talk about how big the runs are on these cars, and now that the white flag is in the air, this thing will not finish under caution. Everybody geared up for this final setup, the final run out of turn 4, and I think that Kevin Freeze and Dylan Jones are sitting ducks right now. You see now Navarro gets help from Malik Ray and Garrett Maines. And now that they're locked up, it's just a matter of time. There they go to the inside, going into turn 3. Who's going to get the advantage? Big push from Malik. He'll get Navarro. Just about clear now. Navarro does get clear of Kevin. Malik's going to try to jump up, looking for a big push. Blocks back to the bottom. More contact. Now Malik's going to go around. Kevin follows. He's able to drive through. Does Navarro have enough of a run to stay out in front? Garrett drops back in the draft. Final time through the tribal. Back to the top, looking for a side draft. Jones on the bottom. He'll push Navarro. It's a drag race to the line, but Andrew Navarro wins it at Talladega. What a win. What a finish. Not his first, Not his last, but boy, he had to work for it. Margin of victory, 100th of a second, with Garrett Maines finishing in second and Dylan Jones bringing home third. And it looks like Navarro's just going to immediately tow it. No burnouts to be shown there. Alrighty then. Well, with that knowledge, we'll take a look at the results, and then we have got to go take a look at, well, pretty much the entirety of that restart. I mean, we had so many things going on. In fact, before we take a look at the results, we will go take a look back at this final restart, if you will, or the white flag, rather. Boy, things got chaotic in a big way. I mean, I think probably about 90% of the field crashed in that wreck. And so here we go. We're going to go all the way back to the TV follow cam. And I mean, this looked like what I initially thought was teamwork gone wrong in a big way. So first, this all starts right at the front of the field with Jason Maines. And it's just, it almost looked like a case of blocking here, which I think 7C's actually called in the chat as happening. And boy, read it like a book. But here we go. Let's go to the chopper view. So Garrett's got a big run here, and I assume, I'm not sure, was Garrett trying to make the move here, or does he try to follow? Yeah, that's what he's trying to do here. He's trying to lead Jason to the top. Jason is just a little bit slower on reacting there, and it gets Garrett a little bit offset. By this point, Garrett's committed to the top. I mean, he's got to be the runs there. Kyler gives Garrett a huge shot in the bumper, and that gives Garrett enough to get him turned down into the right rear of Jason. That turns Jason around, and now the big wreck's on from here. And I mean, look at the guys that plow into this thing with nowhere to go. Up front, decent amount of them were able to escape through, but then back here it was just a free-for-all. Everybody trying to miss it, nobody lifting. I cannot believe that this one didn't bring out the caution after some of the ones that did bring out the caution here tonight. But nonetheless, Dustin Carruthers, I'm surprised he also landed back on his wheels. We saw him, I think, get T-boned while he was upside down. Here you go. Ride for Dustin Carruthers. As he gets tagged, goes back up the track, gets hit by the 59. Upside down he goes. He's going to spin around a couple times before he lands back on all four. But that's not where this thing ends, because as we went back up front, Andrew Navarro, I got to be honest, didn't think he was initially in the best position right here, but he's going to eventually kind of fade back to the second group, and that does put him in perfect position. You see Jones and Freeze trying to tandem away, but once these three get hooked together, it's the run that they make down the backstretch. Malik Ray gets tagged on. They pull a draft. They jump to the bottom, and now Navarro and Malik are going to stay hooked up long enough to get clear. And at this point, I thought Malik may have had a chance here. I think Kevin was maybe just getting ready to jump low. Kevin jumps up top, and then, Malik trying to cover at this point. Obviously, Kevin is getting pushed from behind, and ultimately it just kind of stacks up, and then as Kevin's still getting pushed, it just gets him pushed into the left rear there. Malik gets him turned around. This will bring Kevin Freeze and Malik Ray out of the battle. Cody's got a big run. Not exactly sure where to take it. Gets up top, and now Garrett sizes him up. He's got one more shot at it here. And I'm telling you what, if it was just these two, I think Garrett wins it. Navarro thinks about a quick block, thinks better of it. And then once Garrett jumps to the outside, you see Navarro's going to tuck right back down to the yellow line. And his advantage here was that he got the push. Because you see right there, Garrett's just about to get out front, and he actually puts it down on the door. Navarro here feels like it's his only choice, and it's a good choice because he doesn't have any run out back. But Dylan pushing the 42, that was all he needed to get the victory and get the win here tonight at Talladega. And so with that, let's go take a look at the finishing results here on the night. Andrew Navarro is your winner at Talladega in the Gen 6 cars. Garrett Maines finishes in second. Rounding out the podium here tonight was Dylan Jones in third, John Ward fourth, Cody Nagel fifth, Kevin Freeze in sixth, Colin Bowden finishes in seventh, David Sheets eighth, Zach Range ninth, and Mark Vondell rounding out your top 10. Michael Triscaro brings home 11th in the 34 car. 12th, Nash Brambilla, Malik Ray in 13th. Brock Westmoreland finishes back in 14th. Richard Elliott 15th. Mike Davenport in 16th with J.R. Miller in 17th. Tony Cox finishes in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 tonight was Jimmy Emos and Matthew Patton. Matt Lee in 21st. Logan York 22nd. Brian Broussard in 23rd. Tyler Vickery in 24th. Jeremy Osborne 25th. Michael Clay in 26th. Jack Hignite in 27th. 28th. Tucker McClendon 29th. Jason Maines and Ken McCullough Jr. rounding out your top 30. Christopher McCullough finishes 31st. Kyler Wynn in 32nd. Devin Ray back in 33rd. Dustin Carruthers 34th. Thomas Parker 35th. Trevor Osronoff in 36th. Joshua Watson 37th. Jeff Merck 38th. Ryan Newman 39th. Jason Mills rounding out your top 40. And John Mullahan finishes in 41st. All right, we're going to go get your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We will be right back at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Still waiting for Dylan Jones, your third place finisher, to hop in the booth. So we'll start tonight with your second place finisher. Came up just short again. It's Garrett Maines. Garrett, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, it seems like we keep saying this time and time again. You come up just a pumper short. But, I mean, after 2 green-white checkers, 2 cautions, the last one, the whole field wrecks, we don't get a caution. What was going through your head when you saw pretty much the field disintegrate behind you and you knew you still had a chance?
Well, you see, they didn't disintegrate behind me. They disintegrated from in front of me to behind me. I thought I was dead. I thought I was dead twice there. I had 2 incidents where I was pretty much, wheel lock trying to save it. So, I mean, fortunate to finish where I did, but I don't know. It's a little frustrating because those 2 green-white checkers prior, we really had it in the bag. I really think that, one of the 3 of us was probably going to win that race, that we're in the top 3, and just not much we could do. In that final restart, Kyler got a phenomenal start and kind of kept Kevin from being able to get clear. And it was actually going to work out okay, but when I got up, I think my dad just hesitated a little bit, and I was off the gas, but the run came so fast on the top that by the time, by the time they got to me, he still hadn't cleared up in front, and I just got blasted right through him, and he was like 3/4 of the way out of the groove, and it just turned him, and I'm literally off the gas the entire time he's getting turned. Just nothing I could do to prevent the inevitable there. And I thought that was going to be the end of my race too. Thankfully, I did make it through it, and I will say it's a little frustrating. You say, coming up short once again. I did find out last week that I have come up short more than anybody else. So, it's not bad for the wallet, but it would be nice to be able to bag up the win here every once in a while.
Well, now we know that this is the second time we tried these cars. We've done the trucks. We've done the Xfinity cars. We've done the next gens. But the Gen 6, something about them just seems like it makes the racing up front so much more aggressive. Seemed like it was hard to control lanes. But overall, I mean, second race in, how you feeling about these cars? Do you want to see more or less of them?
I think this is still better than the next gen by far. I think the racing in the next gen is far more unpredictable and the runs are bigger, believe it or not. Of the 3 other options, this is the second most chaotic for sure, but I do think it deserves a place. If they're going to debate between next gen and this is better. But yeah, it's a bit of chaos here at Talladega, but I think it's relatively manageable. I mean, you saw in the first race, it's definitely doable. I think tonight there was a lot more chaos because I think some people had a lot more confidence in what they could do in this car, and it just, you do have to have some chill in this. So, we'll see if they do it again in the future. I kind of hope they do. It's been fun, but it's definitely a completely different animal, and, if you don't do this all the time, this is kind of foreign to the rest of us. So it's even foreign to me because we didn't really run this package very much when we were, running Gen 6 for Cup. It was a different package. I think we actually had the breakaway package where everybody was single file and never got out of line. So this is way better.
Well, even through all the chaos, you still managed to bring home the second place finish. So before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to Scott at MCU Body, Lennox, the guys over at Ryco for all their support, Left Court Brothers, and FGR XL for their support in the Coke Series.
All right, and thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the second place finish tonight. Garrett Maines, once again, a Prides of Maine at Talladega. All right, and now that will bring us to, we'll go ahead and go to your third place finishers. It looks like we got him in the booth now. Dylan Jones. Dylan, this is all set up in the booth. Got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, you bring home third. You had a decision to make there coming off of turn 4. You went with Andrew. You got him to win overall. Again, where did he come from? You find a way to get the job done at the end. Tell us about your race.
It was a mess. I was in 2 wrecks within the first 10 laps, then some other skirmishes, and I have no clue how I ended up here. I mean, it's just the massive wreck, seas parted, drove through the middle, seen an ugly green car, and just pushed him.
Well, certainly a good push indeed to get Navarro the win, but I mean, through all the chaos we had here tonight, 10 cautions in total. Actually, it might have been 11 right there at the end. How do you keep the mindset as a driver focused and keep yourself trying to go to the front at the end? I mean, was there ever a thought of changing the strategy, or do you just try to get to the front the entire way?
In PGR, the strat should be at the front from lap 1. It is very difficult in these races, and especially with this car. Outside lane is very dominant. Inside can work a little bit if you get the right cars there. But this car is insane. The runs everyone gets, and it causes huge checkups, which led to a ton of cautions tonight. But it's kind of unavoidable almost with how hard we all race each other.
Absolutely. Well, to wrap up a good run here tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just thank you at Ghost Racing for running the broadcast, and Michael here at PGR for letting us all put some money out here and wreck a bunch of shit.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the 3rd place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now that's going to bring us to your winner here on the night, Andrew Navarro. Andrew, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you bring home the win tonight in one of the series that I would say it's the worst place to be in the lead coming into the trial, but you found a way to hold on right there at the end. What was going through your head, and ultimately, how did you manage to keep the car towards the front the whole race?
I don't know if I kept it to the front the entire race, but I don't know. It's just with the runs and stuff, you just kind of come and go, and it's a lot of fun when you're not under yellow, but when you're under yellow, it gets quite brutal. I don't know how we were able to come out of there alive, first of all, and to win. Just want to thank Dylan for pushing me there. But yeah, I don't really know how exactly that all turned out. I just kind of went with the flow there, and it worked out.
Well, we were in a different car than usual tonight, and you talked about the runs, but I mean, overall, getting the win, does it change your mindset on how much you like these cars? Do you like them? Do you not like them? How do you feel about them?
Oh, I've always loved these cars since they first came out on iRacing. This is my favorite plate package. Maybe not this exact plate package. Before the update, they were a little bit better. But, I've always loved these things. I used to race these a lot, especially when for the next gen. So I know a lot of things, some things don't carry over, but I would say I really liked them. I just really wish that there wasn't as many yellows. And I think if we race these cars more consistently, people will get better and better, figure out what to do with the runs, and hopefully the races will get cleaner.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you head out here tonight to go celebrate your win, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Celebrity Cruises, 7 Seas, Martin Sports, Adrenaline Captures, Blader for making the paint, Dylan for pushing me there, Premier Racing Setups, you guys for broadcasting, and Michael for putting on the league.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the win. Navarro gets the job done at Talladega. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, and there you go. General consensus, I think, was that a lot of people like these cars, so maybe we'll get to see some more of them in the future. But that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at Talladega. The second round of March Madness has been complete. We will have who advanced to your Elite Eight next week. But as for tonight, Navarro, he's going to go celebrate. He is your winner. What a race. What a finish. And I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and sticking around here tonight, 12:32. About when we're going to go off air. I hope you all enjoyed. And that's going to do it for me, Austin Green, here on Ghost Racing Network. We'll be back again next Thursday with PGR. And tomorrow night, we're going to be back with Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series at Talladega Superspeedway.